Not gonna lie to you, I like the color of the paint. I'm not fully on board with the quality of the job. Only paid $550 for the bodywork and the paint. There's a dent in a spot that wasn't there before I sent it off. I'm a little disappointed in that, but at this point I'm just gonna let my painter know what's going on and just kind of move on. Headlight cowl, left and right side panels, rear fender, gas tank. And this is the side where the dent was. And I know some of you might be asking, did he actually pull it out or did he just fill it with Bondo? This is from the inside. You can see it was actually either knocked or pulled out, but it is not just a fill job. The Bondo was used to fill the outside and get the shape back, but this dent was pulled out and it looks really good. We got the fender here, and we also have the wiring harness, stock brake light. We're going to be going with an aftermarket brake light that's also integrated with the turn signals since the turn signals were destroyed. And now I just got to wire everything up and get it back in the rear part of the fender. Got this magnetic piece. We're gonna put the zip tie through it, and we're gonna put this under the wiring harness. And this is what's gonna keep it from dragging against the tire. It's gonna stick to the bottom of the fender. One more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. And this thing is very on here. It's magnets, so when it's upside down, it won't fall. But now, wire up this back end, brown to brown, purple, and this piece is going to go into here. Alright, now I just got to tuck all this in here, also this piece. I just got to tuck the rest off in here. Alright, rear fender is done. Just got to clip these zip ties. It is a clean, if you want to pick it up, just one big pull. All magnets is on there. Time to install it. Everything went on smoothly except there's one problem. For about 10 minutes, I was looking for 2 bolts that I thought I lost, but those 2 bolts, which mounts it to the frame of the bike, is actually these 2 bolts. because these two bolts I thought were these sissy bar bolts, which are black, and this mounts the sissy bar to the bike. So I gotta move these to the front, put these in, and then we can mount the fender to the bike. There we go. All right. Tie there. This is where the left signal light previously came through. We're not using that anymore. This gets routed through here. This is going to be our right signal light, and we're going to connect the purple to the gray. That is going to be a left signal, and this is going to be, I think, power and brake. Push that little tab in. It's completely locked in. Zip tie that. Something like that. It's okay. Then now we can test it. Oh yeah, I like that. That looks really freaking good. Yes. Top brake, hand brake. Yes, everything works. I really dislike this battery cover thing, but it has to go back in here. I don't really know how this thing goes. It's the right orientation. Get in there, you funky. After a number of curse words, I was able to get this. It goes back up like that. And the right side panel. All right, that's in there. Let's see if I remember. Actually, this one in. It wouldn't be a bad idea to change the fuel filters, but honestly, man, this bike is fairly new, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Trying to tear it first. And just like that. Fuel pump is in. The tightening sequence for this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think I've gotten them pretty snug. I'm sure it won't take much torque for these, so I'm not gonna go crazy with it. Well, we have a development. This was not tightening down like I wanted it to, and I ended up snapping one off in the tank. So I am going to have to tap that one screw. Oh dear God. Have an update. Come closer. I have given up trying to fix this. I have not only broken a bolt off, a very important one for the fuel pump, but I have not been able to extract this bolt with this broken stud. I found out why I even got myself in this situation. You see these little marks here? This is when I was prying this portion of the gas tank up, because I was trying to understand why the fuel pump, when I was mounting this before I snapped the bolt off, it would not sit flush. As I tightened this all the way down, as tight as it could go, I was still seeing gasket in the inside of the fuel pump right here. Come to find out, in my body shop, and they fixed the dent, they used this area as leverage to knock the dent out. And because of that, this was pushed down slightly, which is why the gasket would never seal properly, and I could still see the fuel pump, even after all of these were completely tightened. So what I didn't do, I thought, oh yeah, let me just tighten this down more, like the idiot I am, and I end up snapping this off, creating a bigger problem. I do not trust myself to do this. I know I don't have the skill set to do this, especially on something this intricate, where if it's not right, the tank is not going to seal properly, which is a big problem. I'm just frustrated because I did this, but I'm even more frustrated that it was damaged once again and I didn't pay attention to that and I just kept going. So I'm frustrated in various ways, but I still have not gotten the front fender back that the body shop damaged. They told me it will be ready tomorrow. I waited a day after tomorrow, so I went to go get it today, and they hadn't even started on it. So I'm frustrated in that way as well. This one freaking bolt has stopped me from putting the FX LRS back together and actually more likely going for a ride. But because of this, I'm stopped in my tracks, but I'm hoping that the machine shop can fix this without damaging the paint, because that means I have to send this back to the freaking paint shop and have them correct it, which could take, I don't even know how long. So I'm just frustrated, man. This is self-inflicted in all ways, and I'm just pissed off about it. While I wait to figure out what I'm going to do with the tank, I picked up a set of marker lights to put on the front of the Lowrider S. These are from Drag Specialties, and they have a daytime running feature, so they're going to show an LED white, and then they're going to turn amber when you're using the signal. So the reason I got these is because one turn signal for the Lowrider S is $122, and I got these right at $100, so it made sense to go ahead and get a set of aftermarket. We're going to use the stock mirrors to mock these up. I found out that these aren't necessarily bent, so I may scuff them up and spray paint them later, but today we're going to use them to mount these up. The wires are bare. They don't come with any connectors or anything, so I had an option if I was going to clip these wires off the stock harness and then just solder them back together, but I took this a step further. I sourced out the actual connectors that go on the ends of these cables. These are JAE connectors, which is Japanese aviation electronics that Harley-Davidson uses. So I'm going to depin this, crimp these wires, and I'm going to put it on here so we will have a 100% stock setup. I'm going to leave the extra cable on here. If somebody wants to come back later and put some taller risers on here, they can do so, and they will have the extra length of the cable. I do have one already kind of mocked up here. You can see that. It looks really good. This is the original signal light, and I have the connector depinned. Now we have the new signal light, and I do have the barrel connectors crimped on. I'm just going to put this back on. So we're going to go white, go black, actually purple, and the last connector being black. Running light, hot, ground. Okay, after spending about 15 minutes trying to fish this wire through, even getting a copper wire to try to help do it, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take these brake levers off, the clutch lever off, and I'm going to take the bars off, and I'm just going to unfish these wires through the handlebar, zip tie them together and pull them through, because this is really tight, and I think by the time I try to do all this and then versus just taking it off, it'll just be faster. That's my first zip tie. That's the signal wire. I got to get the control through. And there's the controls. All right. This is the electrical tape on the signal wire. This is the left control wire. and I put a zip tie on it. I'm gonna see if I can save the zip tie because I love saving my zip ties. Sometimes, man, you just have to kind of go with what works at that time, and this is what's working for me. And there's, oh shoot, there's that one right there. A signal is there. Now I just gotta get that zip tie through, and I can save my zip tie. All right, I can reuse this zip tie. The handlebars are done. Now we just got to get everything wired in. So essentially the top part of this is the right side of the handlebar. So right control, left signal. Bottom is going to be the left side. Left control, right signal. And this is the throttle that I've already plugged in. I don't fully know the wiring on this bike, but I just know where most of the stuff goes. So that, and this one goes here. Hopefully it cooperates. I may need to swap that connector. It doesn't, it's not connecting. I'll figure that out later, but let's see. Let's power it on and see what we got. Got power, daytime running light, both sides, that's good. Sweet, look at that, right side blinking. Blinking at the back, sweet. The daytime running light's still going. And the left side of the rear end. Perfect. I want somebody to be able to come back later if they want taller risers, because what I like isn't necessarily what somebody else likes. They'll have that extra and neatly tuck it all in here. Just to clean this up a little bit, I did get this doohickey back on. So now I'm going to try to force all this stuff in here. There's a nice little slit in here. All these cables can get routed through. Eat it. Eat it. Damn it. That was challenging, but we got it. All the cables are now tucked away. Extra cables for the signals is also behind here. I ended up having to loosen some of that bundle up and push it more back into the frame with the rest of the wire harness. That significantly cleaned everything up though. So next up is getting the headlight on and the cowl. Going back with the stock headlight because it works just fine. It looks really good. It does have a scuff on it. I'm gonna try to buff some of that out. Yeah, that scuff isn't worth changing out the headlight. We'll try to buff some of that out. Signal lights is disconnected. That was an easy fix. The signal connector wasn't fully snapped in. Simple oversight. All right, let's try this again. All right, right signal, left signal, headlight. Yeah, everything works. Hell yeah. Had a slight side quest for the front cowl. Had to take the headlight back off. We could get this bracket on the back where the cowl sits in. One thing I don't get upset about as much anymore, unless I'm on a super time crunch, is having to take something off multiple times. The more I do something, the way my brain works is the more I remember it. And I take stuff off, put stuff on, and it gets to where I don't need a manual and I can straight up visualize all the screws, all the brackets, everything and how it's put together. But I don't get that unless I do something multiple times. And you know, it sucks that I had to take something back off and I messed something up, but it helps me in the long run just remember stuff. And it's the same thing with Chief, and it's becoming the same thing with this bike. The headlight cowl, I am missing a few very important pieces on this thing, so we're just gonna mock it up right now and it should sit on the bike no problem. These cushions, as far as they go, interesting. I like it. It's a little bit, and I gotta tweak to get that where it needs to be, but you know, everything is looking as it's supposed to. I had to rotate the headlight forward just a little bit. There's a zip tie on the screw, but I think it's good progress. It's been a little while since I dealt with that front fender and that gas tank. I finally got the front fender back from the body shop and they fixed the issue that I pointed out to them. The gas tank, I have a solution in mind, but I'm still working on it. So what I'm about to do is put the front fender on the bike and the gas tank to kind of mock everything up so you can see what the finished product is going to look like. The issue with the front fender, when I received it from the body shop, there was a quarter size dent right here, as if someone took a body shaping tool and just hit it. If you flip it upside down, you can still see the mark right there. So I took this back to the body shop, told them what happened, said, look, this was not here when I gave it to you. And it took them about a week, no, almost 2 weeks to fix it, but they fixed it, no questions asked, and now we got the part back. I'll sit the trim piece on here just for good measure. And last but not least, the seat. This thing is going to bring it all together, man. That's it. That's everything. Everything has come together really well with this, especially the color. It has like this gold bronze metallic flake into it. I'm confident that we're gonna have this bike on the street next time, but I gotta get this gas tank dealt with. So if you wanna catch up on this series, you can click right here and start from the very beginning. And if you're subscribed, which you should, so you don't miss anything, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.